So starting with lecture, first we will revise the previous lecture. We started with a aphorism number 105 to 145, that is regarding the drug proving, and in this, that is how to do the drug proving. These are the instructions given by Dr. Samuel Hahnemann. In this, regarding how to gain the knowledge of instruments adapted for the cure of natural disease, means in this we have to know, or we have to gain the knowledge about the instruments means the medicine which we adapted for the cure of natural diseases. And in this, in previous lecture we studied the aphorism number 105 to 110. First we will revise these aphorisms and then started with the aphorism number 111. So what is given in aphorism number 105? It is the definition of drug proving. What is the actual drug proving? In this, what is mean by drug, what is mean by proving, and what is the definition of drug proving? In this, drugs are those medicinal substances when they are given in physiological doses are able to change or able to alter the state of health, that we called it as a drug. And proving means experimenting. So the drug proving relates to the acquiring the knowledge of instruments intended for the cure of natural diseases and investigation of the pathogenetic power of medicines, that we called it as a drug proving. This is explained in aphorism number 105. Then in aphorism number 106, it is related to the as many as drugs are possible must be proved so that we could select homeopathic remedies for almost all natural diseases. Means in this they want to prove as many as medicines by homeopathic way, and these medicines can be used for all types of natural diseases. And along with this, in this aphorism they also explain about that is knowledge of medicine, means what is mean by medicine and how it given to the patient. So medicines are those drug substances which in dynamic form proved on healthy human being of both sexes, different ages, at different locality, on number of peoples of different constitutions, whose effects on mind and body are clearly known to us, with its duration of action and relationship with other drug, that we called it as a medicine. And that homeopathic medicine must be given in a single simple way by following the law of simplex, and he should have knowledge of several medicines with its symptoms totality after proving the drug on a healthy human being. So this is explained in aphorism number 106. Then in aphorism number 107, it is regarding the proving must should not done on a sick person. Why it should not be done on a sick person? As there are different reasons, as because the precise true effects of a drug cannot be noted as peculiar alterations of the health to be expected from the medicines are mixed up with the symptoms of disease and can seldom be distinctly observed. That is, there may be a mixing of symptoms of medicine and a natural disease which is present in a sick person, and there may be the cure of the sick person, as the selected medicine may be similar to the natural disease of that particular person. So there are different reasons for which we cannot prove the drug on a sick person. This is explained in aphorism number 107. Then in aphorism number 108, that is the drug proving must be done on a healthy person. And how actually the drug proving done? In this, they wanted, that is the administration of the medicines experimentally in moderate doses, that we have to use the moderate doses of medicines. We have to prove that medicine on a healthy human being, and to ascertain what changes, symptoms, signs of their influence each individually produces on the health of the body and the mind. And the curative power of the medicines lie in this power they possesses the changing the state of man's health and revealed by observation of later. So in aphorism number 108, they give that is how the drug proving is done, that is drug proving done in a moderate doses and drug proving done on only healthy human being, that is explained in 108. Then we see the footnote under 108, that is regarding the, that is it was only the Onhaler besides master who have done proving in healthy human beings for the past 2500 years. Means Onhaler is the only person who done the drug proving on healthy human beings before Dr. Hahnemann. So this is given in footnote under 108. Then in aphorism number 109, it is explained that it was the master who opened up this path of human proving. That is, Dr. Hahnemann took the own credit of drug proving, and it is only by homeopathic employment of medicines that is that the certain cure of human maladies is possible. So this is explained in aphorism number 109. Then the footnote under 109, it having the two main important factors, that is it given the scope of homeopathy and the some demerits of allopathy and some references from where it is drug proving collected, that is given in footnote under 109. Then we see the aphorism number 110. So what is given in aphorism number 110? That is, it is regarding the allopathy and the effects of drug on healthy person, how allopaths records the symptom on healthy human beings. And in this they explained that although in few of the places a recording of the effects of drug on healthy human beings is there, but intention of the recorder is not there to record the effect of drug on healthy person. Few of the recorders have recorded the effects of drug on healthy person when the drug is taken by mistake or in order to produce death. So this is the motive, that is it may be taken by mistake or it may be taken by the to produce the death or in a case of suicide, and these symptoms are recorded, and allopaths told that they have the record of proving of drug on a healthy human beings. And in this, in few of the places recording of poison effect of drug is there in order to question of the other people or in order to give idea of their skill or in order to antidote. Up till Dr. Hahnemann, not a single observer even thought in dream that the pathogenetic power property recorded as a poison's effect can be used for curative purposes. That is, before Hahnemann, no one dreamed that the pathogenetic effect of a drug can be recorded as a poisonous effects can be used for a curative purpose, as poisons can be used for the curative purpose. No one have dreamed that. Then they also do not know what is the curative in medicine is not known by any guesswork nor by smell, color, taste or any physical or chemical analysis, or not yet by testing the drugs two or more than two at a time or on a healthy person. That is, it is regarding the allopath that they do the physical examination of the drug, and Dr. Hahnemann said that only physical examination is not sufficient to know about the drug. When we take it internally and see the effect of that drug on a healthy human being, then and then only we know each and everything about that drug. But the allopath only do the physical examination of that drug, that is what is the smell, what is the color, what is the taste, and this physical and chemical analysis are not sufficient to use that drug as a therapeutic agent. So this is the thinking of Dr. Hahnemann, that is not sufficient of only the physical and chemical analysis of the drug to give or to use that drug as a therapeutic agent. So this is explained in aphorism number 110. 110 having also footnote that gives the, see what I have said on this subject in the examination of the sources of ordinary materia medica. This also given the source of that footnote, that is footnote gives the source of from which the material is collected of drug proving. So this is the aphorism number or the footnote under 110. Now today we are going to start with the aphorism number 111. That is what is given in aphorism number 111. So first I will read the aphorism. You have to listen carefully and then I will explain it. So aphorism 111, the agreement of my observations on the pure effects of medicines with these older ones, although they were recorded without reference to any therapeutic object, and the very concordance of these accounts with others of the same kind by different authors must easily convince us that the medicinal substances act in the morbid changes they produce in the healthy human body according to fixed internal laws of nature, and by virtue of these are enabled to produce certain reliable disease symptoms, each according to its own peculiar character. So what is given in aphorism number 111, that is regarding the poisonous effects of drug, that is that can be used therapeutically. And in this aphorism, that is 111, Dr. Hahnemann gives agreement with the poison's drug effect. That is in 110 he not allowed the um, recording of the allopath, that is not for the purpose of drug proving. They are only recorded by mistake or by the uh, to produce the death or by the process of suicide. But in aphorism number 111, Dr. Hahnemann gives the agreement to these effects of poisonous substances. That is, he agreed to that effects of poisonous substances, that he know that this is not a actual process of drug proving, but he gives the agreement for this recording. That is the poisonous substance, they may be taken mistake or they can be taken for the suicide purpose, but what the symptoms or what the pathology is occurring in the body, that can be recorded is agremented by Dr. Hahnemann in aphorism number 111. That is, Dr. Hahnemann agrees with the effects, poisons or other which is recorded on healthy person, although they were recorded without any therapeutic objects. So what is the main theme of this aphorism? That is, Dr. Hahnemann agrees with the effects, that is poisonous or other which is recorded on healthy person, although they were recorded without any therapeutic object, as they are not used as a therapeutic object or recording is not ideal recording, but he agrees with this effect, as by taking these poisonous substances or any medicinal substances that can be recorded on healthy person, although they were recorded without any therapeutic objects. So this is the agreement of Dr. Hahnemann regarding the poisonous effects of drug. So the medicinal substance act in the morbid changes they produce in the healthy body according to the fixed internal laws of nature, and by virtue of these are enabled to produce certain reliable disease symptoms, each according to its own peculiar character. As he knows that the medicine which is taken internally, it may be taken by mistake or it may be taken for the suicide purpose, but the actual changes that are occur in the body, that are the actual changes, exact changes, and that can be agreed by Dr. Hahnemann in aphorism number 111 as a therapeutic object. Understand aphorism number 111. Hello, are you listening? Understand 111, that is agreement of 110 aphorism. What he not agreed in 110, he agreed in the aphorism number 111 regarding the poisonous effects of drug. So this is aphorism number 111. Now We start with the next aphorism, that is aphorism number 112. First, I will read the aphorism. In those older prescriptions of the often dangerous effects of medicine ingested in excessively large doses, we notice certain states that were produced not at the commencement but towards the termination of these sad events, and which were of an exactly opposite nature to those that first appeared. These symptoms, the very reverse of the primary action or proper action of the medicines on the vital force, are the reaction of the vital force of the organism, its secondary action, of which, however, there is seldom or hardly ever the least trace from experiments with moderate dose on healthy bodies, and from small doses none whatever. In the homeopathic curative operation, the living organism reacts from these only so much as is requisite to raise the health again to the normal healthy state. So this is aphorism number 110, and what it explain about the primary and secondary action of drug, that is primary and secondary action of drug, that drug which can be used in a crude form or which can be used in a dynamic form. So what is explained in 112, that is the instances where you could observe secondary action during drug proving, that is secondary action where you see the secondary action. It is the, what is secondary action is the reverse of the primary action, states which were of an exactly opposite nature to those that first appeared due to excessively large dose. These secondary action is seldom, hardly ever seen from experiments with moderate doses on healthy bodies, and from smaller doses none whatever. So what is actually explained in aphorism number 112? It is regarding the primary and secondary action of crude drug substance and in dynamic form drug substance. So primary action means it is the action of drug on the vital force, and the secondary action, it is the reaction of vital force against the primary action. So these are the primary and secondary action. These are explained from aphorism number 63 to 69. So this primary and secondary action, but when we are doing the experiment of drug proving, when we give any medicine or sorry any drug to the prover, in that case it may be given in a crude form or it may be given in a dynamic form. But when we give the drug in a crude form means the actual form of the that drug or that plant or mineral, that we called it as a crude form. And dynamic form means when we convert that crude form into the potency form, that we called it as a dynamic form. So when we use the drug in crude form and dynamic form, so in this, when drug when administered in crude form produces pathological changes in primary action, or if not in primary action, definitely in the secondary action. But after dynamization, due to reduction in the quantity of medicine, does not produce any pathological changes, and if slight effect is there, vital force is able to overcome to it. That is means when we use some drug for the proving purpose, it may be in crude form or it may be in a dynamic form, but when we use it in a crude form, so it produces the second, that is primary action with the pathological changes in the human being. And if not primary action gives the pathological changes, it may give secondary action may give the pathological changes definitely. But when we use the drug in a dynamic form, in that case the dynamic form medicine, that is quantity of medicine get reduced but the power of that medicine get increased, and that power of medicine only produces the primary action in that particular prover. And these are the primary action which are important to us, and that cannot make harm to that prover, as only we record the primary action. And if something or any small quantity of secondary action can be seen, and that can be overcome by our vital force. So we have to prove the medicine in a dynamic form and not in a crude form. That is explained in aphorism number 112. Understand? Crude form and dynamic form. For example, we are proving the arsenic. If arsenic is taken in a crude form, it produces the poisonous effects. That is, its primary action shows the pathological changes in the prover, and that is so dangerous. And some pathological, that is dangerous pathological changes may not seen in a primary action, but its secondary action definitely gives the severe pathological changes in that prover if we prove the arsenic in crude form. But when we prove that arsenic in dynamic form, when we prepare the medicine from that arsenic, and when the potency form medicine we give to the patient, prover, in that case the arsenic effects, that is dynamic form of arsenic effects, gives only the primary action, and there will not be any pathological changes occur in that prover. And these are the primary actions which are important for the homeopath to select the simillimum. And in this way we cannot do hazardous effects on that prover. So we have to prove the medicine in a dynamic form and not in a crude form. So this is regarding the primary and secondary action of crude form drug and dynamic form of drug. Understand? Understand? Okay. In this for this aphorism they also explain as it may be large doses, it may be moderate doses, or it may be small doses. As the primary and secondary actions can be what seen in large doses, what seen in moderate doses, and what seen in small doses. So in this, Hahnemann observed the following facts regarding the action of the drugs, relation to their specificity and varying doses in which they are administered for the of the healthy human beings. And for this first condition, that is administration of drugs in excessively large doses, that is when we use the large doses, leads to the production of certain symptoms during the initial stage, which are followed later by symptoms which were of exactly opposite nature to those that first appeared. Means when we use the large doses of medicines or drugs, in that case we see the initial effects and exactly opposite effects. In that cases means we see primary action also and we see secondary action also when we use the large doses. And second condition, that is the administration of drugs in moderate doses, when we use the moderate doses, in that case hardly ever produce the least stress of secondary action. We observe only their primary action, and those symptoms where with the medicine deranges the health of human beings and develops in him a morbid state of longer or shorter duration. But when we use the moderate doses of particular drug, in that case we hardly see secondary action. In this we see only a primary action when we use the moderate doses of that drug. And third condition, that is administration of a drug in small doses, that cannot give the secondary action. In that case we cannot see the secondary action in the small doses. So this is classification of primary and secondary action of drugs. It may be in crude form or it may be in dynamic form. And second way, that is if we use the drug in large doses, moderate doses, and small doses. So in large doses it may give the primary and secondary action. In moderate doses it hardly gives secondary but commonly give the primary action, and in small doses it only give the primary action and not at all secondary action. So these are the doses we can use, or the type of drugs we used for the proving purpose, that gives the primary and secondary action. That is explained in aphorism number 112. Understand? So now we shift toward the next aphorism, that is aphorism number 113. In 113, they explain that the only exceptions to these are the narcotic medicines, as they in their primary action take away sometimes the sensibility and the sensation, sometimes the irritability. It frequently happens that in their secondary action, even from moderate experimental doses on healthy bodies, and increased sensibility and a greater irritability is observable. So it is regarding the narcotics, that is the poisonous medicines, that is proving of narcotics drugs, how they are proved. That is with exceptions to the narcotics, means the primary and secondary action of drugs, it in crude form and dynamic form. This is for the other medicinal substances, but when we prove the narcotics, in that case with narcotics drugs you could observe secondary action even with moderate doses on healthy bodies. As we see, we have to use the moderate doses and small doses for the purpose of proving. But when we prove the narcotics drugs in moderate doses also show the secondary action. That is, the severe pathological conditions can be seen in moderate doses also on the healthy bodies. So narcotics are the exceptions for the above aphorism, that is for the aphorism number 112. So what is the given in 113? That is, it is the exceptions to the aphorism number 112. That is, we have to prove the medicine in moderate doses, but the narcotic drugs are the exceptions, and in their primary action take away the sensation, sensibility, and later an increased sensibility, irritability is observed. Means in moderate doses, in primary action also it shows the severe effects. So the narcotic medicine must be proved in a very small doses, not in a moderate doses, as its small dose also gives the various sensations, sensibility, and irritability. In small doses also they gives the primary action, and in moderate doses it also shows the secondary action. So narcotics are the exceptions to the aphorism number 112. That is an exceptions, even with moderate doses the narcotic medicine have been observed to produce secondary action in the form of increased sensibility or the greater irritability. And in their primary action, these narcotic medicines take away sometimes the sensibility, sensation, sometimes the irritability of the organism. So we have to prove the narcotic medicines in very small doses and not in a moderate doses. But the other medicine we have to prove in a moderate doses, as moderate doses are the ideal to prove the medicine. So this is short aphorism, that is aphorism number 113. That is, only exceptions to the above is narcotic medicines, that in moderate doses also it can show the secondary actions. So this is aphorism number 113. Then we shift towards the next aphorism, that is aphorism number 114. So what is aphorism? With the exception of these narcotic substances, in experiments with moderate doses of medicine on healthy bodies, we observe only their primary action, that is, those substances wherewith the medicine deranges the health of a human being and develops in him a morbid state of longer or a shorter duration. So what is given in aphorism number 114? With the exception of these narcotic substances, In experiment with moderate doses of medicine on healthy bodies, we observe only their primary action, that is, those symptoms wherewith the medicine deranges the health of the human being and develops in him a morbid state of longer or shorter duration. So this is regarding the aphorism number 114. With the exception of narcotic medicine, we observe only the primary action with moderate doses of medicine on healthy bodies. Means we have to see only the primary action of these narcotic medicines. That is, with the with exception of narcotic medicines, after dynamization and moderate doses of medicine, we have to observe only primary action and not the secondary action. That before the appearance of the secondary action, we have to cut out the action of that medicine, or we have to stop the giving of that medicine. So we have to observe only the primary action in narcotic cases, as secondary actions are very dangerous in the cases of narcotic substances. So we have to observe only the primary action in the cases of narcotic medicine. So this is the short aphorism, that is aphorism number 114, that is regarding the exception of narcotic medicines. Then next aphorism, that is aphorism number 115. So what is aphorism? Among these symptoms, there occur in the case of some medicines not a few which are partially or under certain conditions directly opposite to the other symptoms that have previously or subsequently appeared, but which are not therefore to be regarded as So we started with aphorism number 115. Yes, we started with aphorism number 115. Among these symptoms, there occur in the case of some medicines, not a few, which are partially or under certain conditions directly opposite to other symptoms that have previously or subsequently appeared, but which are not therefore to be regarded as actual secondary action or the mere reaction of the vital force, but which only represent the alternating state of the various paroxysms of the primary action. They are termed alternating actions. So in aphorism number 115, they explain about the alternating actions. What are the alternating actions of drug? So what is alternating actions? That is where two symptoms of the drugs that alternates with each other, that we called it as a alternating action. That one action alternates with the other action, that we called it as a alternating actions, which are exactly opposite to one another. As these alternating actions are exactly opposite to one another, many of the times physician thinks they are due to the secondary action of drugs, but they are only due to the primary action of the drugs. And these are, we called it as alternating actions. That is, one drug action alternates with other drug actions, and these actions are exactly opposite to one another, and this we called it as alternating actions. But many of the times when we see the primary action and secondary action, in that case we confuse with that alternating actions. As when we see that alternating actions, many of the time physician thinks that this is the secondary action of the drug, but actually this is not the secondary action. These are the primary action, but these are the alternating action of the drugs, and these alternating actions of the drugs are the characteristic symptoms which we found during the drug proving. That is alternating action. In this we take example as, that is, constipation alternates with diarrhea. This is one of the symptoms of abrotanum. That is remedy abrotanum. Constipation alternates with diarrhea, and this condition we called it as a alternating actions of the drugs, and that may confuse with a secondary action of the drugs. That we see, that is, constipation is a primary action, but physician may thinks that when it occurs, that is diarrhea, that is constipation that alternates with diarrhea, the physician may think that it is a secondary action, but actually it is not a secondary action of the drug, but these are the alternating action of the drug. That is, these are the primary action but alternating actions. That is, constipation may alternate with diarrhea. So these are the alternating actions. That is, among the symptoms of primary action of drugs administered in moderate doses, there occur in cases of some medicines, not a few, which are partially or under certain conditions directly opposite to the other symptoms, and that have previously or subsequently appeared, which represent the alternating state of various paroxysms of the primary actions, and this termed as a alternating actions. So you have to remember what is mean by alternating actions and how it is confused with a secondary action, as these are not the secondary action, but these are the primary action of drugs, but these are the alternating actions, and these are the characteristic symptoms of drug which are most important for the selection of remedies. That is alternating actions. That is, one symptom alternates with the other symptom. In this you have to remember the example, that is, constipation alternates with diarrhea. It may seen in a abrotanum. So this is alternating action of drugs explained in aphorism number 115. Understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So next aphorism is aphorism number 116. Prior to this, alternating actions see only with some remedies, some medicines, conditions directly opposite to symptoms observed. That is, this can be seen in some remedies only. The conditions are directly opposite to the symptoms observed, and there is not a secondary action, that is reaction of vital force, as it is not a reaction of vital force, but these represent the alternating state of the various paroxysms of the primary action. So what is this alternating action? These represent the alternating state of various paroxysms of the primary action. These are the various views of the primary action that gives the alternating actions. So this is alternating actions, aphorism number 115. You have to remember the aphorism number 115, alternating actions. Then in aphorism number 116, in aphorism number 116, we'll start with a idiosyncrasy. But before 116, sorry, 117, 170 is mainly related to the idiosyncrasy, but the small part, that is 116 aphorism, that is some symptoms are produced by medicines more frequently, that is to say in many individuals, other more rarely, or in few persons only, some only in very few healthy bodies. That is, when we prove the drug that shows the different reactions in different persons, and in this we have to prove a drug on a group of individuals and not on a single individual. We have to prove the drugs on a groups and not on a single individual, that given in aphorism number 116. So this is the aphorism, that is some symptoms are produced by the medicines more frequently, that is to say in many individuals, others more rarely, or in few persons, some only in very few healthy bodies. That is because while proving drug we get few symptoms in all the provers, that is few symptoms are there which can be seen in all provers, but there are few symptoms that can be seen only 50% of patient, can be seen in 40% of provers, or a few symptoms only on 2 or 3 provers. That is, there are symptoms which can be seen in only 2 or 3 provers. So we have, for this reason we have to prove the drugs on a number of peoples, that is groups, and not on a single individual. So this is the aphorism, very short aphorism, that is aphorism number 116, that is we have to prove the medicine on number of peoples and not a single individual. So this is aphorism number 116, that is we have to prove the medicines on a group of person and not a individual, as thus few symptoms can be seen in all provers, 50% symptoms can be, or a few symptoms can be seen in 50% prover, or there may be some symptoms which can be seen only in 2 or 3 persons. For this reason we have to prove the drug on a group and not on a single individual, that is given in aphorism number 116. And after 116 there start a aphorism, that is 117, that is idiosyncrasy. So idiosyncrasy is most important aphorism, and it can be asked for a 5 mark short note, or it can be asked for a 10 mark long question. And for this reason we take idiosyncrasy in separate lecture, but prior to this I will again revise your aphorisms, that is aphorism number 111 to 116. So in 111 we see the agreement of Dr. Hahnemann with the poisonous drug effects, that is Dr. Hahnemann agrees with the effects, poisonous or the other, which is recorded on healthy person, although they were recorded without any therapeutic object. So this is aphorism number 111, that is agreement of Dr. Hahnemann for the poisonous effects of drug. Then In aphorism number 112, it is regarding the primary and secondary actions. So what is primary action? Primary action, it is the action of drug on a vital force. And what is secondary action? It is the action of the or the reaction of the vital force against the primary action. So primary and secondary action in crude form of drug and in the dynamic form of drug. So drug when administered in crude form produces the pathological changes in primary action, or if not in primary action, definitely in the secondary action. But after dynamization, due to reduction in the quantity of medicine, doses not produce any pathological changes and does not produce any pathological changes, and if slight effect is there, the vital force is able to overcome to it. That is, when we prove the medicine or the drug in a dynamic form, it cannot give the pathological changes in that prover. It give only a primary action and not the secondary action. So this is the difference of primary secondary action in crude form of drug and in dynamic form of drug. And it can be also described with large doses, moderate doses and small doses. As large dose shows primary and secondary action both, moderate doses can show only primary action and in rarely cases secondary action, and the small doses can give only a primary action and not the secondary action. And in this, the homeopathic curative operation of the living organism reacts from these only so much as requisite to raise the health again to the normal healthy state. That is explained in aphorism number 67 regarding the primary and secondary action while proving the drug on a healthy human beings. Then in aphorism number 113, it is the exceptions of narcotic medicines to the aphorism number 112, that we see primary and secondary actions in large dose, moderate dose and small dose, or in a crude form or in dynamic form. The narcotic medicines are exception. This is given in aphorism number 113. Then in aphorism number 114, it is the with the exceptions to the narcotic medicines, after dynamization and moderate doses of medicine we observe only primary action, that the narcotic medicine can give the secondary action in moderate doses also. In that case we have to record only the primary action of medicine in a moderate doses. And in aphorism number 115, it is regarding the alternating actions. You have to remember aphorism number 115, that is alternating actions. And what is alternating action of drugs? These are the symptoms, that is drug symptoms which alternates with other symptoms. That is, where two symptoms of a drug alternates with each other, that we called it as a alternating actions, and these are exactly opposite to one another. And many of the times physician thinks they are due to secondary action of the drug, but these are not the secondary action, these are the primary action only, but these are the alternating actions. In this you have to remember the example, that is constipation alternates with a diarrhea. That is one of the most important symptom of abrotanum, and these are the most important characteristic symptom for the selection of remedy, that is alternating actions. Then aphorism number 116, that is regarding the you have to prove the drug on a group and not an individual, that few symptoms can be seen in number of provers 50%, that is few symptoms seen in only 50% provers, and some symptoms are there that can be seen only in 2 or 3 provers. So for this reason you have to prove that particular drug on a group and not a single individual. So this is aphorism number 116. So today we studied aphorism number 111 to 116, and in next lecture we will study about the idiosyncrasy, that is aphorism number 117, the most important aphorism 117, idiosyncrasy. So today's topic is over. If you can any difficulty, ask me, otherwise now time to ask you question. Anyone, any difficulty? Hello? Yes, any difficulty?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
No, ma'am.
So who are the roll number 47? 47. Roll number 47. This is the time for interaction. Who is 47? कौन है अभिषेक?
मैम मुझे नहीं पता, मेरे को मेरा ही याद नहीं है।
नहीं है याद तेरा?
मैम मेरा नहीं है रोल नंबर।
मॅम बहुतेक कौस्तुभ आहे.
नाही आहे वाटतं तो ना.
हा.
ऍड नाही झालाय तो आणखी. 48. सिद्धेश.
येस मॅम.
सिद्धेश 48 कोण आहे?
मी आहे मॅम, नंदिनी.
नंदिनी आहे का? So give the summary of aphorism number 1 to 9.
1 to 9.
Hmm.
In aphorism 1, it is told about physician mission.
Hmm.
That physician mission is to cure cure a patient with the. Excuse me, ma'am, 1 minute. Um, physician hand only mission is to cure a person with.
विसरली का पहिलाच aphorism?
नाही मॅम, घाबरली आहे. थांबा 2 मिनिटं.
समरी सांग फक्त प्रत्येक aphorism मध्ये काय सांगितलंय तर.
हा, फर्स्ट याच्यामध्ये फिजिशियन मिशन सांगितलंय टू रिस्टोर सिक टू द हेल्थ, टू क्युअर ॲज अ.
Six काय? 6. What is the main content of 6 aphorism? Mhm. Mhm. Oh, okay. चलो, okay, good. Next, 49. कौन है 49? श्रेया, what is explained in aphorism number 26? What is aphorism number 26? Okay. Very famous aphorism, that is aphorism number 26, that is nature's law of cure. Then 50, roll number 50. Who is 50? अभिषेक. सिद्धेश आहे का? कुठे आहे सिद्धेश? होता का लेक्चरला पण नव्हता तो? ओके, 51 आप है क्या फिर? 51 कोण आहे मग? आहे का तो? रिदा अटेंडेंस लिया ना? रिदा? ओके. 52. What is aphorism number 71? आणखी काय दिले? समरी कशात दिली आहे? 70. 71 मध्ये काय? हम्म? 71. Yes, three necessary points for cure. Next, roll number कौन है? 53 का 4. Who is 53? कौन से थ्री नेसेसरी पॉइंट्स? थ्री नेसेसरी पॉइंट्स फॉर क्योर. 71 aphorism. मैंने इंट्रोडक्शन कराया है, तो वो सब